Hi, my name is Dariusz. I am the creator of Town Framework. Since Angular is a core part of Town, today I want to compare it with two other popular modern approaches to professional front-end development, React and SolidJS. I'm focusing on these because they represent a similar philosophy: flexibility, minimal constraints, and developer freedom. And that's great, especially for smaller or fast-moving projects. But this talk is about something slightly different: software design that holds up over time. I will go through 7 reasons why Angular is often a more natural choice when you care about structure, scalability, and long-term evolution. Not hype, no trends, just what works when your application grows. The first and probably the biggest advantage of Angular is architecture. Angular is not just UI library. It is a full framework with built-in structures. You get classes, dependency injections, decorators, real object-oriented programming concepts applied to frontend. Out of the box, your code is organized into components, services, modules, directives. Everyone on the team understands the same structure. And dependency injection is built in, something you not reinvent in every project. Now compare this to React and Solid. They give you a lot of freedom. You can structure your app however you want, and that sounds great until your project grows. Because freedom often means different patterns, different styles, different decisions across the code base. Angular is opinionated. That's actually a strength. It removes architectural decisions so teams can focus on solving real problems. The second big advantage in Angular is the use of RxJS library. And this is often misunderstood. RxJS is not just another utility library. It's a complete model for handling asynchronous data. In Angular, with RxJS, everything becomes a stream. HTTP calls, user events, real-time updates, even the application state. That means you work with one consistent pattern everywhere, instead of switching between promises, callbacks, or different states solution. In many React projects, async logic is more fragmented. You have to use fetch or Axios for HTTP, event handlers for UI, or maybe some stay library on top of that. It works, but it's not unified. RxJS gives you composition, cancellation, retry logic, debouncing, all in one system. And once you understand it, it scales extremely well with application complexity. Template system. This is very underrated feature of Angular, the template system. In Angular, your HTML is not just a markup. It is analyzed and type checked during development. That means if you reference something that doesn't exist or you misuse your data, you catch it early. This is powerful. This is powered by tooling like Angular Language Service, but more important, it is a part of the framework design. Now compare this to React JSX. JSX gives you full JavaScript flexibility inside your UI, which is powerful, but also moves a lot of validation to runtime. Angular takes a different approach. More restrictions, stronger guarantees, and in large teams, this matters a lot, because compile time safety reduces bugs and makes the codebase easy to maintain over time. Signals. Another major step forward in Angular are signals. Signals introduced a very clean and predictable reactivity model. You define what depends on what, and Angular handles update automatically. There is no need to manually manage dependencies. There is no guessing when something re-renders, and no unexpected side effects. Compared to React, you don't deal with things like dependency arrays or re-render chains. It's much more direct. When data changes, UI updates. And importantly, this is built into Angular itself. You don't need to add additional libraries or alternative frameworks to get fine-grained reactivity. SSR and hydration. Another area where Angular has improved over the years massively is SSR and hydration. SSRs, meaning server-side rendering, is now mature and production-ready in Angular. You can render your application on server, send ready HTML to the browser, and improve first load performance. And hydration is built in, which means Angular takes the server rendered HTML and activate it on the client without re-rendering everything from scratch. This gives you better SEO, faster initial load, and smoother user experience. The key point is, this is not add-on or plugin for Angular, it is a part of Angular ecosystem. You don't need to glue multiple tools together to make it work, it's just there. Team scalability. This is where Angular really shines. Angular enforces a consistent structure across the entire application. That means when new developer joins, they don't have to guess how things are organized. Components, services, modules, everything follows predictable patterns. In contrast, with React or similar frameworks, like Solid, teams often define their own conventions, and that leads to variations, different folder structure, different state management approaches, different patterns. You end up with 10 developers with 10 slightly different approaches. That might be fine in a small project, but at scale, it slows down progress. Angular reduces those decisions up front, and that leads to faster onboarding and fewer architectural decisions later. And last reason, stability and trust. In startups, frameworks like React or SolidJS are very popular. They optimize for speed and flexibility. But in enterprise environment, banking, logistics, large internal systems, Angular is often dominant choice. The reason is simple: stability. Angular is backed by Google, so you actually know what to expect over time. Everything is predictable. React, on the other hand, is maintained by Meta platform and evolves faster. That brings innovations, but also more frequent shifts in patterns and best practices. Solid follows a similar approach to React, but it is still a smaller, evolving ecosystem. The key takeaway is simple. In large, long-term systems, stability often matters more than hype. To wrap this up, this is not about hype, it's about building software that evolves and survives over time. Every real project changes. Requirements evolve, teams grow, new features are added. And during that process, you don't just build features, you are building your own foundation. You reuse your components, patterns, services. You create your own internal system on top of the framework. And this is where Angular shines. It gives you structures that allows your project to grow in a controlled way. Instead of rewriting things, you extend them. Instead of chaos, you are building layers on top of layers. And the last important point, you might think Angular doesn't work as well as React or SolidJS for AI code generation, but that's not true. If tools like ChatGPT or other code analysis assistants, Angular's structured, strongly typed TypeScript systems actually work extremely well. AI benefits from clarity and consistency, not just flexibility, and Angular provides exactly that. So the final takeaway is simple. React and Solid are optimized for flexibility. Angular, on the other hand, optimizes for systems that lasts. That's all. Thank you for listening. Have an amazing day.